thank you for joining us for today's presentation on the Transparency Program. My name's Sam from the Seller University team, and today we have Jarrett with us from the Brand Protection team who's going to walk us through transparency. So thanks for being here, Jarrett, and please take it away.
All right, excellent. Welcome everyone, and thank you, Sam, for the introduction. Thank you for joining us to learn a little bit more about transparency and how it'll help proactively protect your listings from counterfeit products. My name is Jarrett. I'm an account executive on the transparency team. I look forward to giving everyone an in-depth look into transparency service and urge interested parties to reach out afterwards and speak with someone from my team on a more personalized one-on-one basis. All right, so before we get into transparency, I'd like to first start with customer obsession. Amazon strives to be Earth's most customer-centric company, where people can find and discover virtually anything they want to buy online. As a customer-focused company, we work hard to earn and maintain our customers' trust, whether that's you as a brand owner or the end customer. That trust includes making sure our customers know that they are choosing from authentic and safe products, as we believe trust is hard to earn but can be lost in a moment. So we make large investments in terms of resources and time to ensure we continually protect our customers and earn their trust. And that protection, though, it must be provided at scale to extend to all of our customers, selling partners, and products sold on Amazon stores. So the reason we created transparency is to protect the consumer and brands selling on Amazon against counterfeit products. All right, so let's get started by giving a quick overview of the customer trust and partner support organization of Amazon. This org contains Amazon Brand Registry, Transparency, and Project Zero. Most people here are probably familiar with Brand Registry, which is a database of brands, their owners, and their owned IP. Brand Registry is made up of automated protections that, with the use of machine learning and AI, prevents bad actors from creating listings or offers in the first place. Those it does not catch, though, can be reported through the Brand Registry portal. Brand Registry is currently a prerequisite to enroll into transparency and for full use of Project Zero. Transparency identifies individual authentic products and prevents counterfeit products from reaching your customers. It's actually been called Brand Registry on steroids by some of our currently enrolled brands. Brands not yet eligible for Brand Registry can access Amazon's IP Accelerator, which helps brands get intellectual property rights and brand protection in our Amazon stores more quickly. All right, so this goes without saying, but counterfeit products have a variety of negative impacts to your brand and your customers. Brands who experience counterfeit products can receive poor product reviews, which can impact your future sales and lead to a tarnished reputation, which can be difficult to fix. Customers who receive these counterfeit products are also affected. Counterfeit products are usually related to a lower quality product and loss of performance. Overall, brands that experience counterfeits spend additional time and money defending themselves, their IP, as well as additional effort to track down these offenders. All right, so let's now dive into transparency a bit. Transparency is a product serialization service that helps proactively prevent counterfeits from reaching your customers. I like to point out that transparency is not just traditional serialization, as we've invested heavily into scanning technology in our fulfillment centers to use the transparency codes as a method to authenticate your products and identify counterfeits from the listing process all the way to shipment of the item. And this even includes fulfilled by merchant. What we do mean by serialization is that each unit manufactured of an enrolled product is given a unique code that allows us to identify those individual units and verify their authenticity. So if you produced 1,000 units of any given item, each item would be issued its own unique transparency code that would identify that one unit out of the 1,000 produced. So once your items are protected, only items with authentic transparency codes issued to your product and brand can be sold on your listings. Your customers, they can also interact with these codes and not only verify the authenticity, but become more familiar with your brand as well, its unique story, and other products and offerings they might be interested in purchasing. Transparency also enables identify of supply chain defects due to the ability to track individual units and who's handled that product. Valuable information like return reasons can also be gathered and provided from all sellers on that ASIN or listing to give you better insight into your products, customers, and their pain points. So just some quick facts on transparency. We were launched in 2018. We currently have over 18,000 brands enrolled, and that's probably actually a little bit low for what we currently have. We are currently active in protecting brands in 10 countries that include the US and Canada, the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Japan, India, and Australia. We are expanding into all marketplaces that Amazon sells in, but just taking one step at a time. We've currently protected or found over 1 million suspected counterfeits and prevented those from reaching customers. So what does a brand need to be eligible for transparency? So number one, only the brand owner or manufacturer can enroll a brand and product into transparency. If you're a reseller or distributor, you need to work with the brand owner and refer that brand to transparency for enrollment if needed. We do utilize brand registry and will research that the correct owner of the brand is requesting enrollment into the service. You must also have a GTIN, meaning a UPC or EAN available for every product to enroll. So even if you are a GTIN exempt on Amazon or brand registry, and you use a FNSKU or another identifier, you will still need one for enrollment of your products. And you will not be required to label your products with this GTIN, but it is needed for a backup system to work. So a brand owner must be enrolled into brand registry also with a valid trademark from any country to participate in transparency. Last, you must have the ability to apply a transparency code to every unit manufactured of that enrolled ASIN or GTIN. Amazon or transparency is actually Amazon agnostic, and you'll be required to label that product no matter where it does get sold. All right, so some information on the codes themselves. On the right hand of the screen, you'll actually see an example of our transparency code in a label format. Brands getting started in transparency typically find it easiest to apply a transparency as a label, but it can also be incorporated into the design work of your product packaging and printed during production as well. The three main components of the transparency label is our Amazon agnostic logo. You'll see that either it's in blue on the screen, but that can be printed in blue or black. We do understand that Amazon is not your only sales channel or might not be your only sales channel. And so we're actually not trying to bring customers back to Amazon with transparency, just trying to provide a way to authenticate the product, both for us and for your customers. So you won't see Amazon branded necessarily on this packaging anywhere. You'll also see our call to action. The call to action says scan with your transparency app. That's made so the consumer knows that they can actually interact with this code as well to get more information. And then lastly, you'll see our 2D transparency code. Each code is unique and product specific relating to your SKU or GTIN. Oops. All right, so as I mentioned before, each code is unique and generated for a specific SKU or GTIN. No two codes are the same. They're not sequential and they can be affixed in any order to the enrolled product. These codes are only provided also to the brand or manufacturer of the product. They can only be generated by transparency and are held in a secure database in AWS. Amazon does not provide labeling services at our fulfillment center for transparency, and we do not provide transparency codes to other sellers of your products. Brands are required to implement transparency at their own manufacturer, warehouse, or prep center. These codes also must be added to all units manufactured of an enrolled product, no matter which channel they're sold. So this might be your website, if the product is distributed to retail shops like Walmart or Target, sold on eBay or Etsy. Just make sure that every unit manufactured gets a transparency code. All right, so what are the benefits for a brand to enroll in transparency? First and foremost, we prevent the listing, sale, and shipment of counterfeit products on Amazon. Once we add protection, we will ensure that every product sold on the enrolled ASIN has been identified as authentic from the brand or manufacturer. We safeguard your brand from counterfeit products being listed on ASINs and your brand globally, even in markets you might not actively sell into. So transparency is global, and we will eventually be active in all Amazon Marketplace. As we add more locations, protections will be extended into those areas as well, ensuring if your product is listed in that market, it will be authentic. If your trademark is located in Germany, for instance, we'll still protect your products sold in other marketplaces like the US. We also offer version protection. So if you have multiple versions of the same product with different ingredients, colors, materials, language, or maybe regulatory compliance, we can actually help keep those on the correct listing and in the correct market. Since these products would have a different product ID, they'd be set up as a unique product and receive their own unique set of transparency codes. Last, we can also facilitate customer trust by communicating unit level product information, including manufacturing date, location, and more like lot number and that type of stuff. And your customers can scan and engage with the transparency code and get all this information as well as additional content that you might want them to see, like videos, images, or additional text information. So how does it all work? Once you enroll into transparency, you'll be given access to a portal where you'll have the information you need to get started. This will include picking your application method, meaning whether you're using a sticker or integration into your existing packaging. This would also include sourcing for your labels or providing information for them to be produced by your factory or warehouse. You'll additionally be assigned an account management specialist who will help assist in setup of your account, products, and answer any questions that you might have along the way. All right, so walking through the steps. The step one is to basically enroll and add your products into our system and gain the ability to generate your own transparency codes. The minimum amount of products you can start with in transparency is just one. So you're welcome to come into the service, try it out with minimum commitment. You don't have to commit to enrolling your full catalog. Next, you would just apply individual transparency code to each unit manufactured of that enrolled product, and then we'll start the protection process. So once you can confirm the date at which the product's being sold will be transparency labeled, we'll start that protection process. And what it'll do is it'll include a 33-day minimum probationary period where we'll send a notice to other sellers on your ASIN and let them know of the upcoming transparency requirement. And during that time, you'll actually be sending in your labeled product into our fulfillment centers, and we'll perform an audit on that new product to determine label accuracy by you, the brand, to make sure you're able to apply these labels. And then once protection is enabled after that process, Amazon will scan each individual unit in our fulfillment center before it reaches your customer, ensuring the authenticity of that product. There'll be no effect to your existing products in our warehouse at the time transparency is enabled, so don't worry about any of that existing inventory. And we'll also require codes, though, from merchant fulfilled sales during shipment as well. Last, when your customer purchases those products from Amazon or any other sales channel, they'll have the ability to validate those products using our transparency or the Amazon app. So let's go ahead and talk about how these protections work exactly. Transparency has 4 levels of protection, 3 of which happen in our marketplace. The first protection is listing protection for your product. Once protection has been enabled, sellers that wish to sell a transparency protected product will be first prompted to provide Amazon with transparency codes that match that product before being allowed to create their offer on the ASIN. If approved by our system, the seller will be able to move to the next step and create their offer via fulfilled by Amazon, FBA, or MFN for the merchant fulfilled network. This is the first of many transparency checks to determine if the seller has authentic product. Because the transparency codes are all unique again and serialized, sellers must provide transparency codes that match the brand and that product exactly. Amazon also keeps track of the codes we receive in order to detect any suspicious activity that could be happening. So duplicate codes, used codes, anything like that. If after a seller is approved to sell on that listing during that first transparency check, they will be able to move on to the next step and create their FBA or merchant fulfilled offer. If they create an FBA offer, they will send in their inventory into our warehouse, and our fulfillment center associates will scan each and every unit before it reaches a customer to ensure it's authentic. Our AI will perform many checks on this to determine if the code is valid and whether it's been used on Amazon before. Anything suspicious outside of possible resale will be red flagged and sidelined. No unlabeled or counterfeit units would be sent to a customer. If after the seller is approved to create their offer, they decide to sell their product merchant fulfilled, that's fine too. In that event, when the seller receives a customer order, they'll be required to provide a transparency code at shipping confirmation. If they're unable to provide that code, they would be removed from the listing. So with this multi-layered approach, we can confidently say that our customers and your customers are receiving an authentic product. So as you can see, we do a great job of protecting products sold on Amazon with transparency, but what about products purchased off of Amazon? Just so you know, as a heads up, you can actually try scanning the code that you see on the left hand of the screen with your Amazon app or the transparency app if you already have that. But if a consumer finds your product off Amazon, they can download the transparency app and scan the transparency code to authenticate the product. The process, the way this would look would be a consumer scans the product with the app. They'll get a green checkbox to confirm it's a good transparency code. And then they're taken to a landing screen that allows them to validate the exact product that they purchased, along with manufacturing date, location, and a brief description of the product as well. One of our newest features, though, of transparency is called customer engagement. Customer engagement, this feature basically allows brands to share additional rich contact information with their customers and bring additional awareness of the brand, product, or other product offerings possibly. So with customer engagement, you'll have the opportunity to share your brand story by providing educational or promotional videos, images, or frequently asked questions. You can actually reward customer loyalty with special offers, promotions, or direct them to other cross-sell and upsell opportunities as well. Your customers will have the ability to share this content or promotions on their social networks or through SMS messaging or anything like that. And our page also allows you to immediately capture customer feedback on the usefulness of the information provided or get customer reviews directly if they're using the Amazon shopping app. Our transparency enrolled brands can also use the transparency portal to review their product's performance within our brand dashboard. So here you can monitor different aspects of transparency to determine both the effectiveness of the service and your operational effectiveness as far as ability to apply the labels. So we have operational reports. This helps monitor the performance of ASINs being labeled leading up to protection being applied. And then once protection is applied, we have the transparency performance report. This allows brands to understand transparency effectiveness in protecting your ASINs. So it's going to give you information about how many sellers applied to sell with transparency codes, how many products we've seen without transparency codes and had to sideline. So very useful information like that. We also have a code usage report. It'll let you kind of monitor the amount of codes you've generated for the ASINs enrolled in transparency, and just operational reports that kind of allow you to monitor the performance of ASINs relating to missing labels or mismatched labels on products. But basically, we give you the tools and resources you'll need to manage your brand while enrolled in transparency and assess its effectiveness as well. All right, so the last newer feature that we've launched is called Return Analytics. Return analytics allows brands to associate customer returns back to production batches, lot numbers, or distributors to help you better understand possible supply chain defects. This information can be really valuable and useful to find trends and returns that could identify manufacturing defects or even low quality resellers that have poor customer service, material, or poor customer service or material handling practices. This reporting will be provided back to brands no matter who sold the product on Amazon. So it enables you to look at the products holistically, not just your selling account itself. This can also be useful for new to market products, for instance, where it will enable you to get customer feedback instantly or identify possible issues with the products earlier on. And brands have this information or the ability to view this information through our transparency portal. And the minimum requirement to make this report work is a lot number to be provided by the brand. If you don't typically use a lot number, go ahead and use something like a production date instead as well. All right, so we just wanted to give you a little bit of information on some of the brands that we have enrolled in transparency. Like I said, we have over 18,000 brands enrolled in transparency currently, and we have some great testimonials for those brands enrolled. One brand that we recently had a guest on one of our previous webinars was a brand called Mindbeast, and their CEO was on. Her name is Caroline Gui. Mindbeast previously had an issue with counterfeits and was able to solve that with transparency. So they were seeing poor or poor reviews, and how they identified the counterfeits is they were receiving returned defective product that was not theirs but made it look like theirs. So it was a straight up case of counterfeit. Since enrolling in transparency, the brand started seeing a 5 to 10% increase in repeat purchases, as well as knowing that they got the sales that they were expecting to get for selling their authentic product. We really do appreciate the partnership with Mindbeast, and we're happy to fix the counterfeit issue that they were dealing with. It was a great success story for them. Again, over 18,000 brands enrolled to date, and from many different product categories. We have large and small brands alike, so it's not just a good fit for large brands, it's also a great fit for small brands. But we have brands such as Samsung. They've enrolled products like phones, as well as knives and cutlery from Victorinox, to games that you might see from brands like Cards Against Humanity. But we also have a lot of smaller brands, like I said, like Beardhead, and brands in niche markets like Mad Hippie that have experienced knockoffs and are looking to have better control of their listings overall. All right, so we're getting close to wrapping up the presentation portion of the webinar, and I just like to review a few main tenets of transparency as well as go over pricing for the service as well. As a recap, products for transparency are enrolled on an ASIN-GTIN combination, and all units of that product must be labeled no matter where they're sold. So in other sales channels as well. Brands should not use like packaging changes or different UPCs for like product being sold through different sales channels. If it is materially different, then of course it should be different. But if it is the same product, just make sure that you are labeling it with transparency as well. Again, brands cannot just label for Amazon in order to perform channel control. Transparency is Amazon agnostic, and the goal of transparency is to identify all authentic product produced of that enrolled product. And as far as pricing, just a quick information on how you'll be charged. There are no startup or monthly fees associated with transparency. You're strictly charged on a per code basis and invoiced at the end of the month those codes are ordered. These codes don't expire, so whenever you order those codes, they can be sent into Amazon whenever you're ready. And brands are not locked into a long-term agreement or forced to label with transparency. You're free to leave transparency whenever you choose by just providing notice to our team. Codes themselves, they're priced individually. They start at 5 cents a code for the first million ordered in a calendar year. And then we have a tiered pricing after that. Most of the time when we speak with brands, we let them know that transparency will generally add about 5 to 10 cents of unit cost to each manufactured unit. 5 cents from Amazon, their label cost, and their application cost. If you already have a label, or already applying a label and applying and having it applied, those costs are already kind of inherent and won't be additional for you. So, all right, I hope everyone got some good information on transparency. If you do have additional questions on transparency, I urge you to reach out to the transparency team and talk with someone one-on-one about the service. To do that, you can simply visit transparency.com, or you can actually reach out via email to transparency-bizdev@amazon.com, biz spelled B-U-S. Again, I just want to thank you for your time today, and I hope to be speaking with some of you soon.